Here we go. All right. Okay. So I don't know about anybody else, but I have been very disturbed about what's happening in Europe, in Germany and Netherlands and Belgium and all of these places. And we're used to these severe phenomenon happening in our country: fires in the West, floods in the East, tornadoes in the middle. But things are so much more severe than they've ever been. But when it happens to a place where this kind of thing never, ever happens, I found it to be really disturbing. So disturbing. I'm close to 100, and the last time I looked, it was about 185 people dead, but the deluge, it just is upsetting. And so I would invite you to join me in this practice to dedicate it to not just the people affected, but to all of us, because we're all affected by this. What is happening? What did we do to our beautiful earth? We caused this. So we need to share everyone's grief. And we're going to do that with big heart-opening poses. And let's begin with our pranayama, our breathing. Come to your sukhasana, your nice, comfortable, easy seat. Close your eyes and focus on your breath. When you breathe in deeply. Big, deep breath, fill your lungs, and exhale. Make it long and slow. When you breathe in, breathe in the grief that others are experiencing. When you exhale, let go of empathy, send out empathy. Whatever emotions you wish to use in your pranayama, use those. You can breathe in grief and send out compassion. Breathe in heartache, send out empathy. Whatever you feel with your body, with your mind, in terms of us trying to heal this earth. After your next exhale, return to your natural breath and open your eyes to let in the light. We're going to begin today in a child's pose. So if you like to use a blanket underneath your legs or your knees, just set yourself up and come in to your child's pose, either with your knees far apart or a little closer together. When your knees are far apart, you can come inside a little bit more, making more room. Or if they're closer together, you can use your thighs as a shelf for your chest. Whatever works for you, whatever feels good, whatever feels the best. Allow your arms to relax completely. I have mine wrapped around my legs, my fingers reaching behind me, because for me, that eases my shoulders the most. But you may find that piling one hand on top of the other and putting your head on the forehead works best for you. So use the pose that puts you in the most relaxed position. On your next inhale, lift your head, look forward, and send your arms straight overhead, placing your palms on the mat for an extended child's pose. Work your fingers away a little bit to feel the stretch. Come up onto your right fingertips, lifting your arm away from the mat. Look underneath your right arm. Come back to center, place your hand down, and let's do that on the other side. So you're just making a little canopy for your head as you look out underneath your left arm. Bring your head back to center, place the palms of your hand on the mat. Going to lift your hips and bring your shoulders forward over your wrists and slide your legs back behind you. Nice long legs. Push the mat away with your hands and use your core muscles, your abdominals, to keep you from sagging in the middle. Inhale, and then exhale, send your hips all the way back where we started. Inhale, come forward again. Look forward and feel how this first of our heart openers is working. A little peek, your heart is taking a little peek out from between your arms. Inhale, exhale, send your hips to your heels. Come back again, heart moving forward, opening up. And come to a table. So lift your hips so that they're over your knees and slide your hands so that your wrists are under your shoulders or slightly forward of them. Yeah. All right, so let's do some cats and dogs here. So we're going to start with an inhale, curling our spine towards the mat. And then we exhale and arch your spine all the way up to the sky. So notice when you come into your dog spine, how your heart once again wants to move forward. Exhale to your cat arch. Feel the stretch in this pose. Feel the shape shifting going on with your spine as you continue at your own pace. Allow yourself to pause between poses just for a moment, to feel the curve of your spine going one way. And then when you arch it in the opposite direction, feel it. Just take a moment here, take an extra breath. And then begin again with an inhale in your dog and exhale in your cat. Come back to Tabletadasana, and you're going to slide your hands towards your knees and come to stand on your knees. All right. Bring your hands on your hips. You want to hold your pelvis forward, and we're just going to do a very gentle twist to the right. Inhale through center to the left. Center, release your arms. Send your right fingers towards the mat, your left fingers up, reaching for the sky. Look up at your left fingers as you reach, stretch. Your neck is opening up, and then look down at your right fingers that are reaching for the earth. Look down. Inhale up, exhale down. Continue a few more times. Feel the stretch in your arms as you look up and down. As you follow this with your breath, breath should be when you're looking up. Inhale, exhale when you're looking down. Next time you're looking down, pause and bring both arms up alongside your ears, and we'll switch. Left fingers go down, look down. Right, go up, look up. Exhale, inhale. And continue here too at your own pace, and reach, reach. And then next time you're looking down, pause, bring both arms down and shake them loose. All right. So now we're going to do our whole side body stretch from the knee all the way up to our fingertips. So let's start on so this is my left, reaching for the right. Take your left wrist with your right hand and let the weight of your right hand allow you to stretch maybe a little bit more. Bend your right elbow so you're putting more weight on that arm. Come back to center. Other side. And take your wrist. And just again, don't pull, just let that weight help to increase that stretch. Intensify it just a bit. Come back to center and release your arms. Send your shoulders forward, up, back, down. Just roll them. Hear my music. And then pause and go the other way. And then pause, just come to straight arms. All right. So you're going to turn to look over your right shoulder and bring your hand to your right hip, your left hand to your right hip. So opposite hand of the shoulder you're looking on, you're looking over your shoulder. So this is a little bit bigger of a twist, and your hips may come with you a little bit here. Inhale, exhale, other side. Release, come to center. All right. So let's begin by stepping in, and I encourage using blocks. You know that, I say this every time. And to step your right foot forward, right? And walk your foot away a little bit. And you can actually here, if you choose, use 2 blocks. All right, and I'll show you why. I'll show you what happens. Walk your foot away. Inhale. And slide your hips forward so that you can see the slide. Exhale, straighten your leg, bow your head. Inhale, slide forward, opening up your heart. Exhale, straighten your leg and bow down, looking inside into your heart and allowing you to open it up when you slide forward. Exhale, straighten your leg. Inhale, bend your knee, pause, and step your foot back and bring it back where it started. All right. Left leg forward. Inhale, slide your hips forward, opening up your heart. Right. Straighten your leg, bow your head. Inhale, slide forward, open your heart, exhale, bow. Inhale and exhale. Once more, last time. Inhale. And then pause, step your foot back and bring your knee back where it was. Bring your hands to the mat, to the top of your mat. Right. And walk your knees back a little bit. So we're not in table, we're in something else. Table is Barasana. And what we're going to do is bring our heart forward, hips to one side, hips to the opposite side, making circles with your hips. And go slowly. This can be, depending on your knees, a little hard on your knees. And next time you're forward, pause and go the other way. And then come forward, right? Turn under your toes. Lift your knees, lift your hips, downward facing dog. Send your heels towards the mat and your chest towards your thighs. You're pushing the mat away. And then walk your dog. And when you have your heel coming towards the mat, pause for a moment because that's the big stretch for your calf muscles. You know, give it a breath or so as you move your heel towards the mat. And then come back to your dog. You're going to begin to slide forward, then put your left knee under your left hip, swivel your right foot on the mat, the sole of your foot of your right foot on the mat. Arm reaches up to the sky. Open up, fan open. Again, another heart opener here. Opening up our heart, opening up compassion. Send your arm alongside your ear, your toes in the opposite direction, right? To stretch your full side body from toes to fingers. Inhale, and then on an exhale, bring your hand down, bring your knee down. And we'll do that on the other side, but first, downward facing dog. Send your shoulders forward just a little bit so that you can place your right knee under your right hip, swivel your left foot, fan open to the left. Send your, what is this, an arm alongside your ear, and your toes go the other way. Yeah, we have all these body parts. You can't expect me to remember them all. All right. And stretch. Bring your hand down, bring your knee down, come to child's pose, shake out your hands. Turn, bend your wrist in the opposite direction from table. All right. And you're going to come back up to table. Right. You're going to place a forearm down on the mat and the other forearm down on the mat. So look to see that your elbows are as best as possible under your shoulders. So their arms are parallel. Your knees should be under your hips as best as possible. And you're going to slide back and forth. So we are opening up lots of joints here and elongating our spine as we do it. And keep a nice long spine, a nice table spine. And then come back to where we started with your elbows underneath your shoulders. Turn under your toes, straighten your arms, downward facing dog. All right. You're going to bring your left knee down again, just like you did before, and swivel your foot, same thing, right? Same thing we did just a moment ago. All right, fan open. Only this time, and this is optional. So, but what's important is that you send your shoulder over your wrist for maximum support here. As you lift your leg, any amount, it could be, you know, inches from the mat, it could go as high as your hip or anywhere in between, right? A nice balancing pose as you open up your heart. And then bring it down. Right. Downward facing dog. Slide your shoulders, your torso forward, bringing your right knee under your left, your right knee under your right hip. Swivel your left foot on the mat, fan open. Slide your shoulder over your wrist, and maybe you'll lift your leg any amount or not. Bring your hand down, bring your knee down, child's pose. Come to extended child's pose. Look between your arms. Slide your hands towards your knees. You're going to come back onto your knees. And this time I'd like you to have a block if you have one. If you don't, you're going to have to imagine that one's there. And I'd like you to put the block between your thighs. All right. Now, before we use the block, we're going to do something else. But the reason the block is important is because it helps you keep your knees together. It helps you keep your yourself from falling back far like this. You know, you don't want to slide back. So you want to stay with your hips over your knees. Okay. All right. So the first thing you're going to do is lift your right arm all the way up alongside your right ear. And you're going to send it back behind you, your fingers pointing back behind you. Your thumb is facing away from you. Your heart is opening up. Ustrasana, the camel pose. And then bring that arm back up and down by your side. And we'll do that on the other side. So the trick here is to keep your pelvis over your knees, your hips over your knees. Arm up above, send it back behind you, opening up your heart. Big heart opener here. And release, come back up. Now we're going to do that with both arms for a very big heart opener. Swing your arms up, back behind you, and let them just float. Let your arms float behind you. Send your palms forward as you open up your heart, as if to send out all the compassion, all the empathy, everything you've got in that heart. Send it out. And release your arms, come back to a neutral spine. All right, how's everybody doing there? Okay, so if you don't have a block, you're going to imagine it's there, and you'll see in a minute why, you know, I love to do it with a block, because it gives you a very strong Ustrasana camel pose. Send your arms back behind you, Yoga Mudra, interlaced fingers. And your aim here, so imagine this block is here. So the block on me, the top of the block is coming like up near the top of my thigh, right? About 5 inches below. So that's a good place to aim for. So what we want to do, and what I love about this is that it almost forces you to keep your hips over your knees. Send your knuckles to the top of the block and open up your heart for a big, big heart opener. And feel yourself in both a vulnerable and loving and brave pose. Release it. Remove the block if you used one. Bring your hands to the mat. And wag your tail a little bit. Wag your tail very gently, very gently. Then come back to center and send your hips to your heels. So child's pose is a counter pose to big back bend. But you want to go in it gradually because you don't want too much of an extreme going from one intense pose to another. And then we're going to make our way up to stand. All right, come to mountain. You're a mountain pose, right? Everybody? All right, they all look good, even though some of them are headless. Right. Looks good. All right. Gather all that energy and bring it to your heart. Inhale, exhale. Inhale and exhale. One more time. Inhale and exhale. So we did this on our knees earlier. We're going to do it standing. This time you're going to step back. Right leg is back. Arm alongside your ears. You're going to take your right wrist, the leg that's behind you, with your left hand, and let the weight of your arm, bend your elbow, help you with a full body, side body stretch. Come back to center, step forward. All right, step back with other leg. Arms up overhead. So the same arm as your back leg, take it by the wrist and stretch in the opposite direction. Feel the stretch all the way down your side body. Good, nice. And then come back to center, step forward. All right. So we're going to do, you know that one of my favorite poses, because we do it kind of every time. I'm just going to get my little friend here out of my way. Okay, is warrior one. Get away from my blanket. Okay, all right. So come to the top of your mat. Come to your mountain. Bend your right knee coming onto the ball of your foot. Step back. Your forward leg is bent, your knee over your ankle. Your back leg is at a slight angle, right? But it's strong and firm. You're a warrior, right? And you're going to face forward. So do it by sending your shoulders to square with the top of your mat. Send your arms back behind you and sweep that warrior up from the earth, giving homage to our earth. Open up your heart in this warrior pose, your arms in a victory stance. Bring your hands into Anjali Mudra, prayer pose. And bring it to your heart. Open up your heart again by swinging your arms behind you, Yoga Mudra, behind you. Send your knuckles down, just like we did when we were on our mat. Brave heart, opening up your heart, letting compassion stream out from your heart. Inhale and exhale. You're going to bend from your hip joint, bringing your torso, hovering over your thigh for a humble warrior. Bow your head. Push your feet into the mat. Let your knuckles help you back up. Yeah. Release your arms. Step forward. Okay. Let's do the other side. Left leg is going back. Knee over ankle. And you can make your warrior, mine's a little wide. I can go a little wider, but you don't have to go that wide. You can be here and still be in a warrior one. It's a little easier actually to maneuver, right? So let your arms stream back behind you. Bring that warrior up from the earth. Feel the power of that warrior as you open up your heart. Say a prayer. Bring the prayer to your heart. Open up your heart, Yoga Mudra, behind you. Send your knuckles down for a brave heart. Inhale, exhale, come forward any amount to hover over your thigh. Bow your head. Humble warrior. Push your feet into the mat and let your knuckles help guide you back up. Release them. step forward. All right. So another of my favorite poses that is a big heart opener is a triangle pose. So we're first going to come to warrior two, legs. So if you're facing me, you'll be coming off the mat a little bit, or if you want to come, turn your mat around and use the long edge of your mat. Point your right toes to the short edge of your mat or to whatever end is there away from you, right? Knee over ankle, right? So your back leg here is still at a little angle. So the best you can do to square yourself off is bring your shoulders to square with the edge of the mat, right? Good. Arms reach out, right? So you're going to look over your right arm. You're going to make sure your right knee is tracking over your middle toe, right? You don't want your knee collapsing in, right? All right. And now we're going to straighten our leg. And watch me first. You're going to make an attempt to stack your hips. So in a triangle, we want all straight lines. So when you stack and hinge your right hip joint, hinge your hips, you can still come down in a straight line, but we don't have to go all the way, right? You don't have to go that far. You can go this far. But the important thing is to keep your spine nice and straight and bring your right hand inside your right leg. Your left arm reaches up for the sky. Look up at your hand. As long as you have straight lines, you can be up high, you can be down low, and begin to stack your hips. Bend your knee, come back to warrior two. All feet move forward, and then we'll swivel to the other side. So your left leg, right? Bend your knee. This is my left knee. Oh, don't forget to square your shoulders, yeah. And send your arms straight out from your shoulders. You're looking over to size up your challenge over your middle finger, like you were looking through a telescope, and try not to allow your knee to cave in, right? Straighten your leg and begin to hinge here, and allow your left arm to come inside your left leg, the back of your hand, and you'll come any amount. Just keep your torso nice and straight. That's beautiful. All right, everybody looks really good. Come back up to warrior two. Pose pointed forward and step your feet together. All right. So let's do a little squatting, and we'll be making our way down to the mat. So have your feet like about shoulders distance apart, so a little bit wider than you would in mountain, right? You're going to bend your knees just a little and straighten them. Bend them a little bit more. Put your hands on your thighs a little bit more. Bend them a little bit more and straighten. And now you may have already reached your range, your full range. So you stop there. But this time you're going to come down to what your full range is. So this is a wide-legged chair pose. So you're kind of sitting in your chair, right? And then you're going to stand up. And you're going to sit again and go down as far as you can comfortably go. Send your arms streaming behind you, swing them forward, let them come alongside your ears. Inhale and then exhale, bring your hands all the way to the mat or to blocks. Yeah. And then place one knee on the mat, the other knee on the mat, and make your way down to sit. All right. Your legs stretched out in front of you. You're resting on the palms of your hands, your fingers facing forward. So this is not exactly Dandasana. We're doing a little different. I want your hand, I'm asking for your hands to come back a little bit more, right? So our back is in a slight tilt. It's still straight and long, but it's tilting a little bit. And you're going to bend your elbows. You're going to bend your elbows. You're going to bend them a little more. You're going to open up your heart. And this is a variation of a fish pose. Open up your hearts. And if you want to go a little deeper, you can come down on to your forearms. This is up to you, entirely up to you. And open your heart fully. Keep your head in line with your neck because it's kind of heavy, right? Don't let it fall back. And then push into your hands, your forearms, come back up to sit. Send your arms forward in front of you. And then very slowly, very gently, make your way down onto your back. And you can bring your hands down at any time to come all the way down onto your back. And you'll get there any way that works. All right, sorry, I didn't want the ant in my hair. Okay, all right. Bring your feet to the mat. Your knees are pointing to the ceiling. Your arms are alongside your body like they would be in Shavasana. Almost, we're almost there. But first, we want to send our legs up to the sky. If you want to put something under your hips, bring your feet back down, lift your hips and slide it underneath, like a block maybe. Or not. So again, remember, and I see everybody doing this a little bit differently. So the goal here is to have your legs as if they're up against the wall. So you don't want them too close to your face. You want them to be directly over your hips. And just let this cool you down completely. Relax your feet. As little effort as is needed to keep your legs afloat. And then bend your knees, bring your feet to the mat. If you have anything under your hip, lift your hips, remove it, and make your way into Shavasana. Allow your whole back body to connect with Earth. Feel your connection to this Earth, our precious planet. and give in to gravity. Let go. Take a deep breath and let it go. Begin to reawaken your body. Roll your head from side to side. Make gentle movements with your hands and feet. And then send your arms overhead, your legs in the opposite direction for a full body stretch. Big yawn. Then bring your knees into your chest, hug them, either around your shins or behind your thighs, and roll from side to side. And then come back to center. Release your legs and roll over into a fetal position on whichever side you prefer. And when you're ready, make your way up to sit. And get yourself ready if you're staying for meditation. Right, everybody looks ready. So close your eyes and focus on your breath. Feel your hands comfortably resting. Shoulders are relaxed. Head is over heart. And focus on your breath. Don't change your breath. Just follow your natural rhythm of breath. Allow your breath to let your body relax. Remember, you can always come back to your breath whenever you're distracted by sounds or thoughts. Acknowledge them and then release them. And bring your awareness to your heart center and focus on your heart, your center of compassion. And allow yourself now to feel any grief you may be holding, any negative emotion anywhere in your heart, in your body. Notice where it manifests if you focus on that energy, that grieving energy, where it sits in your body, how it feels. Maybe it's another kind of discomfort, but focus on that discomfort, focus on it. Allow it there, allow it inside. You have found where it manifests itself in your body. Now bring your attention to it and give it a shape. How does it feel? Where it manifests, what would it be shaped as? And then give it a color. Imagine wrapping your arms around this new shape that you have discovered, that you are focusing on, and cradle it like you would a child, like you would a baby crying. Asking it what it needs, why it's crying, what does it need. And then feed that crying hurt with compassion and empathy. And compassion allows you to suffer a little while with that discomfort, with that grief, with that pain. To ease it, and to allow it to release, to let go. And with your next breath, you feel your heart opening up and releasing. Feel that discomfort releasing, grief or any anxiety. Let it go. Come back to your heart center and now imagine the grief of others. The grief of those who are suffering, or the pain or the discomfort, and maybe someone you know who is suffering, who's going through a difficult time. Allow that feeling to come inside, share it. Notice where it manifests. Give it a shape and a color, because it's real. And cradle it. And let it know that you are there to ease it, the pain and the discomfort, to suffer through the grief with them. Now, with your comforting, send out compassion. Send compassion to those others. Send it out. And help them release their suffering. Let it go. And then finally, bring your awareness to our earth, to this planet, to this place that is our home. And imagine that with every breath, you can breathe in all its suffering, all its anguish, all its hurt. Our hearts are never ending. They can never be filled to capacity. So you can allow all of those feelings in. maybe it's fills your whole body this time, or maybe it lands in a special place. Notice it, notice the shape. And allow yourself to nurture it, to comfort it with compassion, with every heartbeat. Notice your heartbeat and feel that with every beat you are sending compassion out to others, to this earth, and to yourself, so that we may all heal together. Take a deep breath and let it go. Bring your hands together at your heart. Bow your head. And gently, slowly lift your head and begin to open your eyes, to come back into the room. Namaste to everyone. Thank you for being with me today. Ooh. My old lady get up to walk.